On April 8, 2024, Nintendo shut down the online for some of their most innovative video game consoles of all time, the Nintendo Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS. The Nintendo 3DS actually is in my personal top 5 favorite video game systems of all time. I love the 3D effect, I never turn it off. It has an amazing library and the connectivity was better than it ever had been. Or would be again, actually. Between Miiverse and Street Pass, it was a feat of ingenuity. There are a lot of great multiplayer games on the 3DS as well. A lot of these we'll never be able to play anymore. In the wake of this catastrophic event, a couple of my friends and we set out to beat one of the most overlooked games on the Nintendo 3DS. And even though it sold a little over a million, it is by definition an overlooked game. A true mainline Zelda and one of my personal favorite co-op gaming experiences ever. The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. Released in 2015, developed by Nintendo EPD and Grezzo, directed by Hiromasa Shikata and produced by Eiji Aonuma, published by Nintendo. Triforce Heroes is a 3-player co-op puzzle game. Even though it's classified as an action-adventure, action platformer, I absolutely consider it a puzzle game at its core, above all else. Triforce Heroes is a full-on 3-player co-op asymmetric gameplay experience that uses the 3D effect of the Nintendo 3DS to its fullest. In the game, each player controls a token character. You all play at the same time, in the same levels, and both puzzles and enemy placements require you to fully make use of the game's incredible main gimmick, the totem. Since this is a co-op game, you need 2 friends in order to play Triforce Heroes. Shikata had the idea while developing Spirit Tracks, specifically Zelda controlling the Phantoms, and since then he wanted to create a multiplayer experience in the Zelda universe. There is a way to play Triforce Heroes single player. There's actually a request from Aonuma that it be put in the game, but it's honestly unplayable. Sorry Aonuma. It revolves around, you just move one link at a time. You can select to move them individually at different times. They won't play together. They won't play by themselves. When you look at some of the puzzles in the game and some of the boss fights, it is just unplayable. It doesn't work. Either way, I wasn't doing this alone. I knew I needed help. Let's go! Robert of Gaming With Me and myself, we finished Triforce Heroes together.
Whoa, 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 what about Clocked It?
What about Clocked It? Fine. Robert of Gaming With Me, Clocked It, and myself, we finished Triforce Heroes before Nintendo shut down the online for the 3DS.
That's right! We did it together!
Before I talk about all the chaos that ensued while playing Triforce Heroes with my friends, and I assure you, chaos definitely ensued, let's talk about what this game is all about. The story is actually hilarious. You're fighting to put clothes on the naked princess. Hey, I didn't write it. The villain of the game is some old fashionista referred to as the lady. She stole the princess's clothes. It's so stupid that it's actually funny. The game is pretty funny in general, but it's up to you 3 to save fashion and to save Princess Styla from her horribly degrading jumpsuit. The way this is actually portrayed in the game made all of us think she was basically just naked and it was Nintendo's way of censoring it. And I'm going to keep it that way because that is a lot more funny. The main gameplay mechanic that will be used in every aspect of your adventure is called the totem. The totem is a term used for links on the battlefield stacking up. You can make it 2 characters or even 3 characters high. You can pick each other up and throw each other, but for some reason you can't choose to dismount from the totem yourself, which honestly remained quite cumbersome. Either way, the totem mechanic is used in several different ways. Of course, just to get the higher places, but later in the game you also have color-coded platforms. For example, a blue platform that can only be walked on by a blue link. So if you want to traverse a larger area and there's a blue color-coded platform in the middle, then blue link has to pick up the other links to move them across. You throw them on a red platform where only red link can stand on, and then he picks up the blue link again, and vice versa. It works in various different ways, so it's not just about getting to higher places. Later on, you're going to have to think about who walks where and who defeats what enemies, because even enemies will start becoming color-coded down the line. You cross ravines by throwing each other or by using items like the gust jar, boomerang or hookshot. With the hookshot you can, for example, latch onto another link, while the boomerang can grab a link from across wide spaces and bring him to you. So items in the game use a magic meter. Each time one of the 3 players uses an item, it depletes the magic meter. You can find magic in grass and all that kind of stuff, but so you have to kind of micromanage the usage of items between the 3 players. There's a variety of different items. You have the gust jar, the boomerang, the hookshot. You use these a lot to cross ravines, for example, and then you have other weapons like the hammer or the fire glove that specifically are used for switches or to defeat certain enemies. At the start of each level, you will find 3 pre-selected items. In the beginning of the game, these items will be the same, but especially later on, there will be 3 different items. So you're gonna have to decide who carries what item. This can be based on affinity. Personally, I like to use the fire glove and the bow and arrow, for example. Robert, he used the gust jar a lot. He shouldn't have. Clocked, he liked using the boomerang. So this is not just based on affinity, but also the outfits in the game. Certain outfits in the game that you can unlock, they can upgrade your abilities. So I had the Kokiri clothes, and the Kokiri clothes allowed the bow and arrow to shoot 3 arrows at the same time. Clocked, he had the Boomeranger outfit. The Boomeranger made a massive boomerang instead of a small one, and with a massive boomerang you could capture 2 links at the same time instead of 1, which helped with, for example, crossing ravines or getting everyone together, but also while fighting enemies. So because 3 links stack on top of each other, you should see the gameplay field as a 3-leveled playing field. So sometimes certain enemies can only be reached either by a certain item or by stacking up certain links, or a combination of the 2. You have to make sure that the Boomeranger link, for example, Clocked, he would be on top so that he can use the boomerang on a higher level to fight off certain enemies. You have to take all these elements into account while you're playing the game. You need to plan everything. Who uses what weapon, who goes where, who does what. Maybe 2 people will go one way while the other person has to go another because his weapon is required to bridge 2 areas together. Communication and planning is key. The 3D effect in the game is not just great, it's vital. Robert played on a TV in the beginning, and on more than one occasion he was confused because he couldn't hit a certain enemy because he wasn't using the 3D effect on the TV, of course. So he couldn't see certain layers of depth. The enemies, the platforms, the triple stacked totem, everything is made with the 3D effect in mind. I feel the 3D effect of the Nintendo 3DS enhances the graphics quite a lot, but there are not many games out there that truly use every aspect of the 3D settings the way Triforce Heroes does. Where if you choose not to use the 3D effect, sometimes you literally can't progress because you can't see what you're doing. There are 9 worlds in the game, with an extra Den of Trials world released later on as DLC. Now you can actually vote not just on what world you want to play, but also what level you want to play. If you don't come to an agreement, a randomizer will start between your selections. Now fortunately, We ruled as a democracy and we wanted to play the whole game in order. Until the ruins were released. At one point you beat a certain world and then they released 2 worlds at the same time, the desert and the ruins. And I really wanted to see those ruins. The levels were actually pretty varied. You're traveling from the forest to the desert to lava caves to the skies to castles. Like, there's a lot of variety in the levels and in the visuals themselves. Each level having its own unique gameplay gimmick introduced, from breaking ice and sliding in snow levels to deadly quicksand which would engulf you if you stood still for even 1 second in the desert. Those ruins though. It's the only world in the game, save from a couple of boss fights, that took us multiple play sessions to beat. I just wanted to see those ruins.
I will never forget you for dropping us into those ruins. Clocked it. He was never the same again. Ever.
Something that I thought was fascinating and why I think these puzzles were so well designed is that you could actually combine items. So for example, if I would have a fire glove, I could make a flame and hold it. And then Clocked could shoot an arrow through my flame to create a fire arrow needed to overcome a certain obstacle. Same way in another level, I would have a hook shot and then Robot with his gust jar would blow me onto a fence that I could hold on to with the hook shot to traverse a certain area. It was honestly impressive how intricate and evolved the puzzles got the further you progressed through the game. This is why I say it feels so much like a mainline Zelda. The intricacy of the riddles, but also the way you approach them. If you thought it could be done, it probably could be done. The game only flowed as smooth as the effectiveness of your teamwork. The idea is that you always work together as a team. Now that doesn't always work because people often want to do different things.
Can we play Minecraft now?
No! Give me that! And other times, some players might have completely selfish objectives. I found myself more often than not endangering my team because I wanted to collect every single rupee. Rupees are needed to buy new outfits and also can be used to acquire materials you need to create those outfits from the shop in the town square. And those are expensive. Fortunately, at the end of each level, you get a free material. There's 3 links, there's 3 of you, there are 3 treasure chests. However, there's only 2 good items and there's 1 rare item and they're randomized. And obviously, everybody wants the rare material to get the better outfits. I present to you the Triforce. So, what we do is... I love puzzle games. From Professor Layton to Portal, single player, co-op, I've played them all. And Triforce Heroes without a doubt has some of the most clever puzzles I've ever seen in my entire life. The reason they are so clever and work so well is because of the triple combination of 3 players, 3 layers of combat, and 3 different items in later levels. 333, the half number of the beast. Speaking of the beast, teamwork is the goal, but teamwork has to be farmed, nurtured, treated with a delicate touch, and often we would just dive into absolute madness. The outfits I mentioned before? The outfits. And this is where Robert absolutely screwed us. What? You did! Robert would refuse to buy even a single new outfit, let alone wear it. He likes his characters to be basic. Yeah, let's call it basic. So we'd always lack at least one special ability, because the costumes grant abilities that range from giving you greater weapons to straight up power or health upgrades. My go-to outfit, like I mentioned before, were the Kokiri clothes. I liked the triple shot it gave. It helped a lot with defeating enemies and buttons. Clocked that he used the Boomeranger, which also helped with defeating enemies, but it was even better when we had to traverse ravines, because he could grab both me and Robert at the same time to gather us at a specific spot. So between Clocktit and I, we took care of everything. Enemies, buttons, ravines, like it was nothing. While Robert did this. Some of the puzzles were really hard, either because it was actually a complicated puzzle, or we just failed to grasp a certain gameplay mechanic. There was a moment where you had color-coded platforms. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the beginning. But so you had a blue platform, a green platform, and a red platform. And we had to get high up. And we couldn't figure out how to get all of us to the final platform, because only the green link could stand on it. So you're trying to throw people from one platform to the other. It didn't work. And we were overthinking this like crazy. We couldn't figure it out. We were like, should we look it up? We're not gonna look it up. With 3 adults, we've played Zelda our entire life, and we couldn't figure it out until I want to say Clocktit found it. I don't remember, but one of us all of a sudden went like, bro, what if you just stand on the edge from one platform to the other, and then you pick him up, and then you walk to the edge, and then the final person picks you up. And that's all you needed to do. It's like sometimes you try to just overthink the riddles, but in general, the riddles were pretty complicated and intricate. Sometimes we just, I still don't know what happened there. Sometimes we'd also struggle because I, for example, wanted to solve a puzzle one way, while Robert and Clocktit wanted to solve it another. While my way was obviously far superior. Okay, I'll stop. We were always on voice chat, which, sometimes helped and sometimes didn't. But a great way to enhance your communication with your allies is to make use of the Nintendo 3DS touchscreen, which I haven't even touched upon yet. When you click on one of your teammates' usernames on the lower screen, the camera actually pans to them, and you can keep a close eye on what they're doing, in case you are curious because they're running solo, or if you have to time certain strategies together while solving a riddle. There are also several emote options, where you can, for example, ask for assistance with a certain item, or indicate a totem requirement, or just to cheer or cry together. The communication was truly key, and is what made this game so good. At the hardest moments, we would put all shenanigans aside and truly come together. Delegating in turn, dividing tasks. One person distracts the enemies while the other two would totem up to collect some hearts. The carrier returns, fighting enemies, while the person chucked onto the higher platforms gathered new health. We combined communication between the voice chat and touchscreen simultaneously to max out our cooperative performances. And we'd kick ass. Something I thought was rather impressive were the physics. Wind streams could be blocked by enemies or by statues you could control yourself, and you could shoot an arrow into the wind and the arrow would actually fly in slow motion. The way you could make fire arrows, like I mentioned it before, by combining 2 weapons. But there's also quicksand, water, balancing platforms, those were quite fun. You could even fly with cuckoos.
It's cuckoo.
Both idiots, it's Choco.
Not even an H in it. That doesn't make any sense.
It's a chicken.
Cuckoo. Like a cuckoo clock. Cuckoo.
Choco.
Chicken.
But it's not a cuckoo, is it?
No,
it's a cuckoo. You get a cuckoo out of a cuckoo clock.
It's C-U-C-K. It's cuckoo.
Well, we could both agree it ain't Choco.
Yeah, I do whatever.
Chuck, even if you go to Australia, they call them chucks.
We're not fucking Australia.
It's not Hyrule. It's a chicken. It makes the most sense to be a choco, it's not a cuckoo. Did you have a chicken come out of a cuckoo clock?
We got a chicken out of a cuckoo clock.
Well, we don't have chocolate come out of a chocolate. It's cuckoo. It's cuckoo.
He's got the cuckoo out of a cuckoo clock. I don't know. It's cuckoo, okay? That's all I know.
We ain't no cuck either. That's weird.
Scientific fact.
Cuck either.
Believe me, When I say this, it's choco. Chicken, choco.
Graphically, it's among the best looking 3DS games out there. From the water and sand textures enhanced by the incredible depth of some of the best 3D effects I've ever seen on the 3DS, right down to the backgrounds and level design. The lighting effects are just beautiful in the game. You have the fire glove fire effects, you have Pose holding lanterns. The lighting in general in the game is just beautiful. All this is clearly taxing the 3DS. The system is truly pushed to its limits with Triforce Heroes. The amazing depth of the 3D, the physics of the elements, the general graphics and lighting, all that added to the 3-player asymmetric gameplay, we definitely experienced lag a little bit here and there. Albeit rare, but it was definitely there. The enemies all come from different games, but you had original enemies too. But for example, you would find Redeads from Ocarina of Time, Ball and Chain Troopers and Dead Rocks from A Link to the Past, Blobs from Wind Waker and many more. You also have some of the greatest mini-boss and boss fights in Zelda history. Not just in the way they were designed, but specifically in the way you fought them, because the 3-player gameplay mechanic is heavily incorporated into every single fight, and in a different way each time. From color-coded boss fights, to balancing mechanics, to straight-up totem madness, it is all there. You need to coordinate more than ever with your friends in order to get past these boss fights, and they are brutal every single time. The final boss fight is a grueling feat of teamwork and yelling at your comrades in sleeves. This battle will put everything you learned to the test. Puzzle solving. The final boss uses everything from color-coded attacks and color-coded platforms to totem-required weak spots, and most of all, she will be testing your camaraderie. How well have you grown as a team? It all comes down to this final boss. It is intense as hell, pure madness, and it will bring you the most satisfying victory you could ever achieve.
Parasol.
Oh my god.
We did it, boys!
I'm legit stressed. I gotta go to bed an angry person.
That was awesome. That was a legit tough boss where just like
That was a
cooperation.
hard boss, man.
Cooperation is the toughest thing.
And with that, we completed the game. As a team, as one, the most satisfying gameplay experience I ever had. We were always laughing, cheering, arguing, we were crying together and celebrating together. It's a struggle we shared and a gaming experience I will never forget. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I do a lot of video game content, top 10s, gameplay video, trailer reactions. You'll find anything retro and modern on my channel. I truly enjoy making videos. And please also check out my friend Clocked It. He makes amazing Nintendo and Sega content. He has some of the most original video ideas. Not to pressure you, my guy, but please make more videos. I seriously love your content.
And unto this, Clocked It, bearing the jewel crown of Aquilonia upon a troubled brow. Time to get to know me, people. Get to know Clocked It. Yo, what's crackalacking, people? It's Jason from Clocked It here. So, I just realized that you probably don't know that much about me and my gaming past. I keep telling you people I've been gaming for a long time, since I was about 5-6 years old. I talk about Sega, I talk about Nintendo. You know I like Panzer Dragoon. But what else do I like? I haven't had the chance to do this on my channel yet. And the whole point of my channel was to give people insight into my gaming past. Cause I've been gaming for a long time, people. And I've got a lot of games. As you can see, I've got a lot of loves in gaming.
And please also check out my boy Robert of Gaming With Me, who's back at the Backlog series. It's just absolute art. He beats games off his backlog, anything from retro to modern. The amount of effort he puts into his videos and the skits, it's just absolutely amazing. So absolutely check out these two guys.
I'm back at the backlog. I really fucking hate this stuff. Yeah. What is up, guys? It is Robert of Gaming With Me, and welcome to Back at the Backlog, the series where we take a look at the games that I recently beat off my backlog. Today's episode is on the game Klonoa. Klonoa is a franchise that before this game I had no history with. I learned about this character's existence when I would see this cover on websites as a kid. I just knew it was a platformer with a cool looking character, and that alone made me want to play it. I mean, I don't blame my younger self. This is such a welcoming and colorful looking box art that told me you'd go on an adventure in this game. Little did I know that this game was actually a remake of 1997's Klonoa Door to Phantom Isle for the PlayStation. Here I was finally years going to play this game, but now I had to debate on the version to choose. Do I play the PlayStation version, the original, or do I play the Wii remake?
I want to thank you all for watching this video. A big thank you to Clocked It and Robert of Gaming With Me, not just for being a part of this video, but for being a part of my life. And a special thanks also to Robert of Gaming With Me, who generously provided me with all the gameplay in this video. The gameplay of us saving fashion, of us becoming a team, of us becoming Triforce heroes. Okay, let me see. I didn't even really look at it yet.
What? You wrote it? I'll never forget that you dragged us into this room.
No, I
will never forgive you. That piece of forget.
That's it. I mean, we have two good ones anyway, so we can try to move on. And
I want to try to get one more time though.
Okay. So between Clocked It and myself, we took care of everything. Enemies, buttons, traversing ravines. Dude, why can't I remember that? Like it was nothing.
I will never forget.
It's like that. It's like it's over. And a touchscreen to max out our cooperative performances. With combined communication between the voice chat and touchscreen simultaneously. With combine and the touchscreen to we combine communication between the voice chat and the touchscreen simultaneously to max out, jongen. Robert of Gaming With Me. Oh no, wait, I did it. Okay. Robert of Gaming With Me, Clocked It, and myself. We finished Triforce Heroes together. No, fuck. I don't need it together. That's your line.
That's right. That's right. We did it together. Oh, that's right. We did it together. Wait, I'm gonna be serious. Oh
wait. What's the first one again? Oh yeah. And myself, we finished Triforce Heroes before Nintendo shut the online down. I was gonna say forever ago. Because I wrote it.
I was waiting for the 3DS because you said for the.
Yeah.
Well, the English language will disagree with you.
Yeah, I agree.
I was about to call myself English or something. That's what happens when you pronounce things incorrectly. Your throat gives way.
What's up with you guys?
That's a lot of footage right there.
Oh yeah, we can come back. We can like try the other ones
Yeah,
first and come back to it. You know.
That's so funny.